Greetings everyone, this is Connor from Dagora TV, and in this video I'm showing all the proof that we have right now that Starfield is a real game in development. As many of you will know who's watching this video, Starfield is one of the rumoured Bethesda Game Studios games that's going to be out before The Elder Scrolls 6. To go into further detail, in 2016 in a GameSlice interview, Todd Howard confirmed to everyone that Bethesda Game Studios are going to have 2 games out before The Elder Scrolls 6. So people were scavenging around of what's going to be it, and people kind of settled that one of them is going to be this game called Starfield, as it kind of fits the bill of being something different than what Bethesda have done before, whereas being a Bethesda style game, because it's got potential of being a Bethesda style game. We don't really know anything about it, except with the kind of the game Starfield, it kind of gives us an idea that it's going to be a game that's set in space or set in a solar system, much different than what we've experienced with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, for instance. And the proof that I've got to you now is in the series of trademarks that have been confirmed and been filed by ZeniMax Media Incorporated that can be accessed publicly. All this is public information that you're able to gather, and I've got 3 separate trademarks, which kind of quashes the rumour a little bit that some people have tried to use to quash the idea that Starfield is a real game. Is that they normally go up with the idea that we're only one trademark, and all this kind of internet speculation and assumptions of Starfield being a real game is off that one trademark, whereas actually there's 3 of Starfield related content in regards to ZeniMax Media Inc. All of these have been filed on 2016 and have been maintained up to date until the modern day, and like I said before, they're all under the name of ZeniMax Media Incorporated, which is the banner that Bethesda Softworks works under, and that is the publishing outlet for Bethesda Game Studios. So let's get into the main trademark to start off with, which is the one that I think everyone's famous with, which is the main Starfield trademark. And this one covers a variety of issues, which is mobile related content, game software, computer video games in general, and interactive game programs. And this is kind of just a general run-of-the-mill trademark by what I can gather, as I had the idea of looking up Skyrim as well, and this is a very similar trademark to the main Skyrim one with the way it's set out with what it's covering, except that the main Starfield trademark we've got here also includes entertainment services, whereas the Skyrim one they had those 2 separate. So maybe it's just a way of covering all bases with the one idea, or maybe with Skyrim they decided to set the one for games and then wanted to cover all bases with entertainment services as well. But this is the one that I think everyone's been going on about and talking about in relation to what's really Starfield. The rumours of that being a Bethesda Game Studios related game has kind of come from, because it comes through the trademark, which is covering all aspects of stuff. If they want to do a mobile game app, they can do that. If they want to do a computer game as well, which is what everyone's kind of expecting it to be, one of these AAA Bethesda style games, that's one of them as well. The next one that we've got as well is for clothing, and people may think, well, clothing, it's meant to be a video game, why would they do that? But if anyone remembers to Fallout 4, before Fallout 4 came out, there was so much clothing related stuff for Fallout 4 that was getting released. I remember those Vault-Tec jumpers and jackets that I see hanging all around about the city and everything, and there's a lot of related stuff that you could buy, clothes related, you know, shoes and stuff, t-shirts and all that kind of thing. And it's done the same for Skyrim. It's kind of a thing that Bethesda Game Studios tend to do for their games, especially with regards to the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, because, you know, they're fairly mega franchises with huge fan bases. And Starfield being a new one, I think some people were speculating that there wouldn't be a clothing ideology behind it or clothing outline, but there actually is. It looks like there could be. You know, they've definitely got the idea for that because they've got the trademark for clothing, or maybe it's another thing where they're covering all the bases again. But it kind of seems like one of those things where why would they kind of trademark the clothing for it when they're not expecting it to be kind of a really kind of a big deal, or something that they want to do with it and possibly want to do with it in the near future. So I think really it's kind of another bit of backing up that they're trying to cover, not this Starfield ideology, this Starfield trademark, the Starfield name, so that they can use it at a later date rather than, you know, just kind of think that's kind of a cool name, let's just keep all of that just in case we want to do something with it later. And the other thing that we've got as well, which I think is the biggest amount of proof for it being a AAA Bethesda game, is that there's a trademark for game guides, trading cards, maps, posters, strategy guides, and instruction manuals. And again, this was filed in 2016 like the other 2 trademarks. Which again, a lot of this stuff tends to come with, you know, physical copies of the games, you know, like game instructions and maps and things like that are kind of things that you tend to get, you know, like with the Bethesda games that we tend to do get a map of the games that will come with, and especially in instruction manuals. Strategy guides or game guides, whatever they want to call them in these trademarks, tend to be something that you buy separately. Like personally, I own the Skyrim Skyrim game guide, which is a really good actually thing to own if you actually want to start a new game and everything, and gives you different ideas of taking on different missions and different quests and everything. And normally, a lot of AAA games tend to have these to sell for, either collectors to, buy them and use them to help them play with the game, or, just people generally to buy them as gifts for other people to help use them. And yeah, very common to have that, and posters as well, and trading cards are just things that, people, tend to buy for, the Fallout and Skyrim related institutions. So it's not surprising that they want to do that kind of thing with Starfield, as clothing in this kind of thing tends to be a big money maker. And I think all these three things added together does make it look pretty certain that they're wanting to do a lot with Starfield and will be a game, whether it's this year or whether it's in the future. But I think there's enough proof here in the trademarks that they've definitely got a lot of ideas for what they want Starfield, what they want it to be. And really, they've done a lot of work in maintaining this. You can just look at the trademark history for each of these, of how they've maintained this and done the retrospective actions they need to do to get this trademark far. They've done a lot for it, and I think it's very clear that they want to do something with the Starfield name. And personally, I honestly do think it is one of those Bethesda Game Studios games that's going to be out before The Elder Scrolls 6. And if you want any more proof to the pudding, you can go out and have a look at the Skyrim trademarks, and the way that trademark is set out is very, very similar to the way they've done the ones for Starfield, with separate ones for game cards, trading cards and maps, and separate ones for clothing, and then also one for the main game as well. It's done in a very similar way, which makes me kind of think as well, if this kind of tend to be done in that pattern for a AAA game, where they kind of separate them with clothing and the kind of physical items with the game and the game itself and the entertainment services. That makes it very clear that they want to clearly make a game out of it and make it a really big marketing push, a big AAA game where they've got a lot of stuff to go along with it. But if you want to have a look at any of these trademarks or anything in greater detail, I've got all the links in the description below if you want to look into them themselves. It's all public information, like I said before. This isn't something that I've, hacked into something with. I've got my mate, who just knows all about how to hack into, the Pentagon or something to find the secret trademarks are in there, or into the Bethesda vaults on the internet or something. No, it's all public info that you can access on the internet, so I'll put that into the description below. So thanks all for watching this video. Let me know what you think. If you knew that there was 3 trademarks for Starfield and this is not surprising you, I apologise, but I was kind of surprised to see there was actually 3 trademarks, because I was one of the few people that just took everyone's word for it, that there was actually just the one major trademark for the game that was kind of all basing this off, whereas no, there's actually a lot of supporting stuff in there. I apologise that I've also been away for a little while, but I had my exams. I'm done now, so I'm back. I'm all back for the Starfield speculation stuff, which is pretty much what my channel's going to be, I think, until E3 and Bethesda speculation and all that good stuff, and speculating on what games I want to be announced and everything. We're getting close to E3 now, but there's definitely going to be ramping up the videos in the near future, as E3 is right around the corner. But thanks all for watching. Leave your comments below about what you think about the Starfield trademarks. Have a look at them in the detail, and definitely look at the history for each trademark as well to see how well they've done at Bethesda to maintain these trademarks. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.